Hello, my name is Adrian Cox-Settles, and I am a math coach. And also, I am the owner and CEO of Diverse Interactive Learning Tutoring Center. Now, today I decided to create a video on how to pass the Praxis Core math test when you have math anxiety. Now, this is a very deep topic, very deep topic. And I think it's very important because in my from my experiences, from my experiences from tutoring and teaching for over 20 years, I have noticed that 50% or more of my students or clients have suffered from math anxiety. Whether they walk into my class and I can just see that they're frightened of me, or whether they're shaking, or, people stuttering. I mean, I've seen it my whole career. More than 50% of the people that I have taught or tutored, including from fourth grade up to adults. And, I have tutored and taught teachers, and I have tutored nurses for the TEAS tests, etc. Now, I think this is an important subject because people do not talk about this when they are trying to study for the Praxis Core math test or any type of praxis test. This needs to be discussed. Now, when they get to taking secondary math tests, 5165, when you get to that level, if you have math anxiety, you know how to deal with it because you're to the point where you're going to be teaching higher level math. So you have some liking to math, or you know how to deal with it because you're going to be getting into something deeper. So, it's not as difficult as if someone on a lower level, like Praxis Core math, elementary education, and things like that. So now, when you have math anxiety, it's difficult to think, concentrate, and just be you when you have math anxiety. And now I know you're probably wondering, what is math anxiety? Okay. So math anxiety is when you have like a phobia, which means a fear of math. Just hearing the word make you, you just have that fear. You have this internal feeling that you change, you change into something else. You're not your confident self. You're less confident. And then you have all these emotions attached to that word math, numbers, anything related to math. You have these strong feelings. And like I said before, math anxiety is like a phobia, which is a fear. Okay. And things go on psychologically. And it's not a simple process. It's not a simple thing, because like I said, you have tension, you're very anxious, you're nervous, and all these things come out when you hear that one word math, or when you have to take a math test. And this is serious, and I know a lot of you all have been pushing through, and most of you all have been taking this test over and over and over and over and over again, because I have taught and tutored people that have taken this test numerous times, and they just can't figure out why they're failing. So they think it's something with them being able to retain information. However, when you have math anxiety, it's difficult to retain information. So now you're probably wondering, if you have math anxiety or not. So I'm going to give you some symptoms of math anxiety. Okay, so first let's start with the physical symptoms. When you hear the word math or math test, do you sweat? Are you trembling? Do your heart race? Do you feel, like you're nauseated? Do you have panic attacks? If you have those physical symptoms, then that's a sign that you might seriously be dealing with math anxiety. Now, as far as the cognitive symptoms, the way you think, their mental like symptoms. Do you have difficulty concentrating? Have difficulty thinking clearly, or have difficulty with math information, processing it, trying to get it to get it to being understandable? Do you suffer from that? If so, and you have the physical symptoms, you could be suffering more than likely from math anxiety. Now, let's talk about the negative self-perception. Do you have low self-esteem when it comes to math? You're just not as confident. You're confident in reading, and you're confident in science and all these other subjects or hobbies and things that you do. But when it comes to math, you just have that feeling that you're not so confident. You have low self-esteem. Do you deal with that? That's another sign of math anxiety. Now, a big one, avoidance. Avoidance. Now, that means avoiding situation where math is present. Like, signing up for math classes. I know in college you have to sign up for the general classes, but for sure you're not signing up for any extra math classes. You try to avoid sometimes if you have to help someone with their homework, you'll pass the child on to someone else. You're just avoiding the situation where math is present because you don't feel comfortable with it. And when you were with that math, I'll say being, when you didn't feel confident and you felt that he was or she was more in control than you, has power over you. So you like avoiding seeing that being. I'll make it a being because it's like almost like a person, because when you hear that person, when that person shows up, you want to avoid and go the opposite way. So that's a form of avoidance. And if you have avoidance, those cognitive symptoms, that low self-esteem, and those physical symptoms, those are forms, those are things that point to you might have math anxiety. Now, you might have impaired performance. So let's say you're very good with solving skills, problem solving skills in every subject, science, English, social studies, or whatever. Even in life, you're a really good problem solver. However, when it comes to math, it's like, whew, all that goes out the window. Okay. So you're like impaired, you're like restricted, you're like handicapped when it comes to math. But throughout everything in your life, you're such a superstar and you exceed. But when it comes to math, that big bad secret, that thing that you are ashamed of, you feel impaired. That's another symptom, of math anxiety. And with math anxiety, people tend to have long-term effects, in their life. They avoid any type of situation where it comes to math. It's like, if math is here, I'm not. So they're planning their life trying to get around going to situations where they're math, they have to encounter math, they have to answer math questions, and maybe sometimes they have to be around people that's really good at math. That could be intimidating also. So if you suffer from any of those symptoms, you definitely could have, more than likely, math anxiety. Now, if you experience those things, I know you can see why it's extremely difficult for you to pass the Praxis Core math test. Because if you can't concentrate, you're forgetting things, how can you solve word problems? You're forgetting things. You can't concentrate. You're forgetting the formulas. You're sweating. You're shaking. You're having a panic attack. I mean, these things can affect your test scores. So in order for you to be successful if you have math anxiety, you have to get it under control and hopefully end it. So for right now, I'm going to tell you some strategies of things that you can do to get rid of this math anxiety so that you can pass this test. Okay. Now, before I go any further, let me just say I have created a guidebook on the 5 fast steps to passing the Praxis Core math test. Now, I will put the link below for my guidebook. Pretty much giving you the 5 fast steps of how to pass the Praxis Core math test. However, the steps that are on that guide doesn't pertain to this. You have to get this under control before you can go to the regular steps, the steps that everyone starts at if they have anxiety or not. The first step I'll let you know pretty much is understanding or finding out, pinpointing your weaknesses. Okay. So before you can get to understanding, pinpointing, pointing out your weaknesses, you have to be able to get through this math anxiety, because after you get through this math anxiety, some of those weaknesses may not even exist. However, when you're under so much pressure, you make weaknesses that you normally wouldn't have, because you're not really in the right mindset. Your body is going through all these changes. You can't hold information. You feel bad about yourself. And so, you have to get this under control so that you will be able to get to the point where you can find out where your real weaknesses are and do the steps that you need to do to pass this test. But you can't focus on that until you focus on this internal work that you have to get done. Okay, you have to get this work done. So before I said that I have a guide, an e-guidebook. I'm gonna put the link below. I have a video on YouTube where I speak about math anxiety. I have a Facebook post that I'm going to try to find and put the link to that for math anxiety. I also have a flyer because in September I am going to be tutoring Praxis Core Math again. I'm going to be tutoring secondary math 5165 for high school. I'm going to be tutoring elementary education, middle school math, and algebra 1. So those are the topics that I will be tutoring when September comes. Okay, so let's get back to how do I heal from math anxiety? Okay, so I'm gonna walk you through it. Now, the first thing you have to do is we already identified it. So the first thing you have to do is acknowledge that you are experiencing math anxiety. Acknowledge that you are experiencing math anxiety. And the feelings that you have, you feel those feelings. Do not attach judgment to it. Do not attach judgment to it. At some particular time in your life, you were in some type of restricted, harsh environment and you was traumatized, whether it was a teacher that was too harsh on you, or you went to the front of the board and you wrote something wrong and all the kids in the classroom laughed. Oh my goodness. So it was something that happened. Or your parents, when you were bringing homework home, would consistently frustrate you, because you're trying to get help, but they're frustrated. And, I don't know if you got punished, screamed at, I don't know. But obviously you went through something that was traumatic. And then from that, that's when the anxiety comes in, because you don't want to have that feeling. It was so traumatic. You don't want that feeling anymore. So you avoid any type of situation where that same feeling can occur. Okay. So first of all, you have to acknowledge that you are experiencing math anxiety. And then what else did I put down? I want you to own it. Okay. I want you to own it. So basically, personalize it, personalize it. Go back and try to remember when this traumatic situation occurred? You know, was it in third grade when Miss Smith had me go to the board and I wrote the wrong answer on the board and all the kids laughed at me and I was so traumatized? Was it when I was in algebra class and I brought my homework home to my dad and I kept getting the wrong answers and he kept trying to tell me what to do and he was just so frustrating with me and I got punished because they all said it was easy. Why wasn't I getting it? Think about, go back and dig deep and think about what was that traumatic experience. Was it one, you grab it? Was it two? Try to think about it. Normally it's one main experience, and then everything else comes after that if you're put in situations where it keeps going on. But think about those situations, gather those situations. Just know that it's not your fault. It was never your fault. Okay? It was never your fault. These situations were never your fault. Okay? So hold on to the situations. And I want you to think about the person that assisted with this traumatic experience. Was it a teacher? Okay, was it a teacher? The teacher wasn't skillful enough to deal with you the way they were supposed to. The teacher lacked those type of skills. Was it your parent? Was it a family member? That lacked the necessary skills to help you get to where you needed to be. I don't know who it was, but I want to say that I'm sorry that you had to experience that. And I just want to let you know that you can get past this. It's not your fault. It's time to stop feeling shameful, embarrassed, hiding. It's time. It's time. You grown. It's time. Forgive. If you have some type of you feel guilty, whatever, forgive yourself because it wasn't your fault. Now think about that person as an adult. Would you let that person tutor your child or any other child that's close to you? And if you say no, it was that person's fault. It wasn't your fault. You were the victim. Okay? You were the victim. So it's time to stop holding on to all these bad experiences and internalizing it as if it's you, but it's not you. We're going to disconnect those experiences from us because we were victims. So we no longer want to hold on to those experiences. Okay? We no longer want to hold on to it. It was done in the past and it did have a lasting effect on us. And I say us because I want to talk as a whole, but I never experienced math anxiety. But I do understand it because I have taught many students and I really care about my students learning. And so I picked it up quickly. I was bullied. So I guess I was sensitive to math anxiety when it comes to others. They have some common, it's a common situation in a way. And so, because it is a form of bullying in a way, math bullying, it's a form of bullying. So I do understand the feeling, when someone has math anxiety, because it is a form of bullying and I was bullied. So let's get back to the process. I want you to, take all those feelings, emotions, heartaches, and just get rid of them. Okay. You're no longer attached to that. That doesn't define you. That was something that happened to you that you no longer want to be attached to because it has taken over so much of your life. It altered what class you go to. It altered who you talk to. It altered if you're going to take this test. It altered if you're going to help this person. It has been controlling you. And so it's time for you to take your control back. And I know you can do it. It's going to take time. It's going to take patience. You have to be patient with yourself. But now you have math anxiety. So now you have to do the work. Okay. You have to have a positive mindset. No more negative self-talk. I don't know math. I'm not good at math. No, that's not true. Sometimes when you have math anxiety, it makes you feel that you don't know how to do math. But if you're doing good in every other area of your life, it could just be the math anxiety that's giving you low self-esteem and the traumatic situations that you had to go through, you know. So you can also do positive affirmations. I am going to connect with math. Math is going to be my friend. I love math. Math matters. I'm no longer scared of math. Maybe I want to be one with math. Some of y'all saying, oh, she's taking it too far. But I really love math. I'm passionate. So I can do math affirmations all day long. I love math. I breathe math. I smell math. But you don't have to go that far. Some people might think that's too much. But to start by, I'm going to start liking math. I want to connect with math more. Math is not so bad after all. I can do math. Math is fun. I mean, whatever affirmations you can, have positive affirmations about math. And it might feel a little uncomfortable at first, but just do it. Put positivity into that math relationship. You want to build that math relationship. So when you take this test, you are open and you're able to, when you get prepared for the test, you're open for the knowledge. You're able to retain the knowledge, and you're able to focus on what you need to do to pass the test. But this anxiety, you're here. And then you might be with a tutor that tutor all these different concepts at once. And that's a no-no, but we're only going to start focusing on this. Now, I want to also say that I want you to commit to letting go of what we spoke about. Make it a commitment. Just make a commitment. Like I said, you do the affirmations, make a commitment to yourself. I am going to work towards connecting with math because I want to eliminate this math anxiety, and there's different strategies, other strategies you can do. You can do relaxation techniques, deep breathing. You can do meditation. You can do different type of mindfulness strategies to help you get through that. And also, if you want to, you can test yourself by putting yourself into little situations at a time, something that normally you would feel anxious about. Normally you will feel anxious about it. Put yourself in that situation and see how it works. See if you're getting triggered or not. Just slowly put yourself in situations. Let's say, for example, your child come home, you never help up with the math homework. One day to say, okay, let me see. And then help up with the math homework one day. And then the next day you might do something else in math. Take your time, but ease into it. Try to see if you're strong enough to get through those, different stages. Try to see if you, get through those different stages, and then visualize. Try to have visualize yourself, sitting at the table doing math problems and feeling good about it. Yes. Feeling good about it. Visualize yourself actually feeling good with doing math. Let's have that picture in your mind. That can help you also. There's like so many different strategies that you can do. Think about some positive experiences that you had when you did math in the past. Think about some positive experiences and put them more in the forefront. And the other ones, we say we're going to throw those away. Okay. Also know that making mistakes in math is normal. The people that are the smartest in math made a lot of mistakes, but we learn from it and we move on, laugh about it, and we move on. And when I teach, I tell people mistakes are allowed. Yes. And if you don't make a mistake, this is crazy because everyone makes mistakes in math. So I expect for you to make mistakes. I even get happy when people make mistakes because I'm like, okay, we can learn from this. This is another misunderstanding. This is another misconception. This is something that we can learn from. And in math, there's a lot of misconception because the students year after year after year after year say the same thing. And I'm just sitting back waiting for them to say it. Because, for some reason, maybe the teacher before them didn't explain it right, or maybe the student just put their own interpretation on it. But when they get to me, it's the same thing for the same subject, whether it's adding integers, whether it's algebra, whether it's trigonometry. There's always some common misconceptions, and I'm just waiting for someone to say something, and then we try to address it, make it make sense, so that we can erase that misconception and they don't carry it to the next grade. Okay, so if you have tried all the strategies and you still need help, then you can just reach out for professional help, because it is a traumatic experience like anything else. Math trauma is serious. If it affects the way you think about your life, where you go, how things are regulated, then and you can't get over it, you do need professional help because it's affecting your life. you know, it's affecting your life. You are planning out what you can do and what you can't do based on a trauma that occurred that you were the victim of. It wasn't even your fault. Like I said, it was that person that wasn't skillful enough to deal with a brilliant person like you. And I'm gonna say brilliant too, because have math anxiety, you think you can't get it, you can't learn. You can learn, you just have a blockage because you have this traumatic experience and it affects everything. And Aubrey went through the physical, the cognitive, and all those different symptoms. And so now it's time to take control of your situation. Many people suffer from math anxiety. They just don't know that it exists. But it does exist. It does exist and it's real. And I have seen over 20 years, I said 50 plus people that I have came in contact with had math anxiety. And what I had to do was make the environment safe for them so that they can feel comfortable making mistakes. They can feel comfortable asking questions. I had to make it safe for them. I'm all about being successful. And if I see someone that's not opening their mouth and they're anxious, I try to make them feel comfortable because this is a situation where they've been traumatized. So I just want them to be able to connect with me, understand that I have their interest, their best interest, and I'm here and I understand. Like I said, I've been through bullying, and math anxiety is like, you being bullied, someone has bullied you in math. So it's the same thing. So I definitely can relate. Definitely can relate. And so I just want to say, look into the different things that I said, the different strategies, do your research. And like I said, I have a YouTube video up. I'm going to see if I can put my Facebook post up here. I have the YouTube video post. I have the 5 fast steps of passing the Praxis Core math test, there. So you can still get that, but you need to do the work. It's going to stay there, not only so that you can pass the Praxis Core math test, so that you can live a decent life without being scared of the word math. I want you to embrace and love the word math. I love the word math. And even if you don't get to the point where you actually love, let's say you like math, just liking it allows you to be open to the possibility, to be open to different knowledge that you can get from someone, strategies, open to thinking differently. Because now the test, the 5733 max Praxis Core math, is more conceptual now. It's no longer procedural where you just go through and write steps and things like that. You have to really think, and so if you're struggling with concentrating or, things that's messing up things that you're struggling with cognitively, you're going to struggle on the conceptual part because you have to dig deep and think and feel comfortable with what you're thinking about. You know, it's not just going to be, okay, it's just, no, you have to actually think, embrace it, know it, backwards and forwards, you know. So I would just say, let's get this taken care of. It was never your fault. I know that you can do it. I have faith in you. Like I said, I have 100% passing rate, and I have had students that had math anxiety, and I had to deal with them a little bit different. Um, yeah, differently. I had to deal with them differently because before I can get to the first steps of identifying the weaknesses, I have to help them get through their insecurities when it comes to the word math. Because no matter how much I teach them, it's going to be hard for them to retain it. You know, so it's like we're going to just be keep going backwards and forwards, and things are not getting done. I love results. You know, I'm a data person. You know, I like to analyze things. You know, I like to assess things. So I need something measurable. I need to see the growth. And and things need to make sense for me. You know, why push people through concepts when they're struggling with self-esteem? Let's build that self-esteem up so they can feel comfortable with whatever I have to say. And once I build that connection and self-esteem up, I can give them any and everything, and they take it. They take it and they want more. And that can be you. Once you get over this, this is not only for the Praxis Core math, this is also for your life. So yeah, so I just want to let you know that it's very important. I don't know if a lot of people address that, but like I said, I don't have 100% passing rate of 4 more sessions without understanding math anxiety. You know, math anxiety. You have to understand math anxiety as a tutor, a teacher, when you're dealing with people in math. You're gonna come across people that you see and you can feel the anxiety. You can't just keep expecting just to keep pushing stuff on them and to see them keep failing and you like, oh, okay, that's not my fault. He need to get it. No, you need to calm down and you need to be patient with that student. Be patient with that student. That student have experienced some type of traumatic experience, and you can't even imagine what happened to that child. So calm down, be personable, be human, and help the child. And I say for people, for when you go to your tutor and you getting services, tell the tutor, I have math anxiety. You have to be patient with me. You know, when it comes to criticism, I'm a little sensitive. I'm working my way through this math anxiety. You know, can you give me strategies of what I need to do? You know, take accountability, let them know what you have, let them know your strategies and what works best for you. You know, I don't really work well with just reading the information. I need you to draw it out. Let them know your learning style. There's so much to what you can do if you're paying someone to tutor you. You tell them what you want. Don't just sit there and be a victim of the tutor and the tutor looking at you like you still can't get it. No, I can't get it. I'm struggling. And if you don't have patience with me, then you're not the right tutor. So no, I'm not getting it. And when you don't get it, don't feel bad. A lot of times it's not the student. A lot of times it is the teacher or the tutor, you know, and the teacher or tutor have to differentiate, do it in different ways. And sometimes they are limited based on their knowledge. They might not know strategies, but as a tutor, when you tutor a while, you know, many strategies, you know, because I have tutor, I teach, I taught, led math department. I was a math specialist. I was a homeschooler. Like I said, I'm a math coach. I have done so many things when it comes to math, and I love math, and I love helping people be successful in math. And I know that math anxiety is a big thing. So I, you know, may God bless you to do the work that's needed to be done, not only to pass this test, but to have an enjoyable life and you know, to get to the point where you're not avoiding math. Math is not a big bad monster. Math can be your friend, you know, but it takes time. Be patient with yourself. let the child and you know that he's safe. It wasn't his or her fault, and that you will protect that child because you know that you were a victim. So you're going to protect that child. Become one with you and your inner self, and your inner self. Become one. You got this. You can do this. Okay? You have math anxiety, you have some strategies, you know what it is, and you just have to do the work. And I know that you can do the work. And I'm excited, once the work is done, or anything you feel, you can just leave it below in the comments. And I know this is going to be life changing for people, and people do not talk about this. And a lot of people that's teaching tutoring math don't even care about this. They just want to go in and push the formulas and stuff, the formulas and things on you, and they can't just push it on you because you have your own information. You come with prior knowledge. And the best way of looking at that, you know, if they want to, if you want to learn conceptually, I'll go there, I'm not going to be too long. If you want to learn conceptually, the tutor has to respect what you already know, not just go through and try to erase what you know and put everything in that he or she knows. They have to respect what you know. Okay. Um, they have to respect what you know, and they have to value you as a person. Other than that, they're teaching you, and they're the specialists when it comes to your education. But no, you're the specialist. They have to learn who you are. They can ask you questions, and once you answer the question, they can ask guided questions to push your thinking forward. And then they can see if you have misconceptions or misunderstanding. It's different things people can do to see that. But you're not an empty vase. You never have been. And the information you have in you is extremely important, whether it's a misconception or not. It's important for it to come up so that it can be addressed and the learning can be facilitated. And it's different. Like I said, there's different strategies to do that. Like I said, I was a lead teacher. I taught teachers, mentor teachers. So I just been all around math education field. I just, like I said, I was teaching in so many different schools, whether it was public, private, charter, college, and I homeschooled, and then I homeschool, virtually coach. I was a specialist. I mean, and I did a lot of test prepping, for people for the SATs, math SATs, like I said, teacher T's, the Praxis test, the GEDs, and I have been extremely successful because I understand math anxiety, and especially in black and brown people. Majority of my clients have been black and brown people, and there has been a lot of math anxiety, and that's something that we can no longer avoid. We have to address it if we really want people to be successful. So if you have math anxiety, you're starting down here, whereas though someone without math anxiety is starting up here. You have to do the work here to actually catch up with the other people. But it's okay, because once you do the work, you'll realize, you actually know more than you thought. And then, you might bypass the other person. But you have to do the work so that you get rid of that blockage, the everything that's holding you down, the shame, looking over your shoulder. Is math chasing you? You want to get past that. And you can do it. Do the work, do the research. You got this. And then after you do the research, like I said, I have the guidebook, the e-guidebook that you can read so that you can get started on the general steps that's needed to pass the test. Once you get rid of those blockages, you'll be able to take in the information. You will absorb the information like a sponge, and you'll be like, wow, wow. But it's not going to be that easy if you have something blocking you, the information, and it's blocking. You do the work, the blockage goes down and the information goes through. And that's what I want for you. That's the type of life I want for you, and that's what you deserve. So If there's any other type of trauma, also, if you're still struggling, just get, professional help. You got this. If you want to be successful, take care of this math anxiety. Like I said before, I have been very successful tutoring and teaching people past tests. And many people have math anxiety. And if I didn't address it, my success rate would not be where it is. And I know it's where it is because I understand math anxiety. I understand math anxiety. Oh, my computer's acting up. So yeah, that's it. So hopefully my advice was informative. And please like, share, and subscribe. Again, my name is Adrian Cox-Settles. I am a math coach. I love math. I breathe, sleep, and dream math. Okay. So that's it. I don't want to get too corny, but I can get really crazy. But I'm trying. I said today I'm gonna be calm because my throat. But yeah. So have a beautiful day. Peace.